today's video, I'm gonna be building a deer blind, and I'm gonna be putting out corn for deer. I'm gonna be building this deer blind and setting it up today. It should take me, it's probably gonna take me about 2 hours today to build it, but you guys are gonna be riding shotgun. Okay, so before we get into the deer blind building, I'm actually gonna pour out a bucket of corn real quick. In Georgia, we're allowed to bait. In a lot of states, you're not. But in Georgia, we are allowed to bait, so I'm about to pour out a bucket of corn. All right, so for the blind, I'm gonna be building it on top of an old tobacco trailer. I'll show you guys that when I get there. But right now, I'm about to go into this old house, and there's some old 2x4 framing in there that's connected. I really don't want to spend any money on 2x4s, so I'm just gonna go grab those and then take them apart, and that's what I'm gonna use to frame. I've got a piece of 3/4 inch plywood that I'm gonna put down as a floor, and then I'm gonna frame up from that. So I'm gonna go grab this plywood, go grab these 2x4s, and I'll pick you guys up when I get back to the trailer. That'll ride. Okay, so now I'm about to start building this thing. I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm building on. This is an old tobacco trailer right here. You can see the tires are all worn out. Pretty much gonna have to drag it wherever I take it. It's a little bit rusted out, but there's like this right here. A solid steel. That really around the edges is the best. But what I'm gonna do, what I plan on doing, is it also teeters up and down on that axle. So I'm gonna put a center block on the front, center block on the back, measure this this top piece right here, and then I'm gonna lay the plywood out over the top of this, so that way I can screw things in. But on the front of this thing, my brother actually started, I think it was about 3 years ago. He already built a ladder out of T-posts, metal T-posts. He welded them on here, just tacked them up. So I have a way to get up and down. All I have to do is measure the plywood, lay it up here, and then I don't know, I may have to drill holes in the plywood and bolt it down to this, but I don't even know if I'm gonna need to be honest with you, because it's kind of like boxed in with these on all the corners. So I think if I just have it fitting snug, I won't have to worry about going anywhere. But all I'm gonna do is I'm about to measure every side of this, and then grab this sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, and then cut it to the size that I need. I actually picked up 3 sheets of plywood from over there, and 2 of them are 1/2 inch sheets of plywood. My original plan was to frame it up and then burlap it all so that I didn't have to use plywood, because plywood is crazy expensive right now. But I actually have those 2 sheets, so I'm thinking on the front side and maybe one of the sides that the deer come from, at the spot that I'm gonna put this thing, I think I'm gonna put the plywood there. So I want the ladder to where I'm walking in, and so I'm actually gonna make this side, this is gonna be the front, and then I think this side is the other side that I'll have the plywood, is on both of these sides, and then I'll probably burlap those 2 back sides, unless I have enough plywood left over to box them in. But that's probably all I'm gonna do for the frame. I don't know, I haven't thought if I'm gonna put a roof on it. I have a bunch of old tin that I could, but I don't know if I don't know if it's worth it. I may just leave it off and just leave it open, but I'll figure that out in about an hour when I get everything up. Actually, I might figure it out sooner. I got to figure out what I want to cut my 2x4s to. So I'm gonna get these measurements and cut up this plywood. Okay, so I put the plywood up here and it is 10 inches short. I had it 66 by 58. It's 10 inches short. On this side, there's no wood. We're about here back, but I'm really not gonna be a stickler about it. It's really not that big of a deal. All I'm gonna do is just frame to what that board is and just leave that other side. The other side is not, it's not like open. It still has metal on that side. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it has metal, so it's not like the end of the world. But I'll just frame to the wood and just leave that 10 inches without any kind of plywood on the bottom. I'll make the blind to where you can't go on that side of it. So now I've got to take apart all of these 2x4s right here. They're all just nailed together. So I got to pop them off and then start cutting 2x4s length. Boards don't want to come apart. So what I'm gonna try and do is cut them to length and then try and get them apart, try and get them in smaller sections. So when I cut this right here, I'm gonna cut it to 66. When I cut this, and I'm gonna have to flip it around and do it on the same other side, and then I'll have a pair of them, which is what I need. I need a pair of 66s and a pair of 58s. So I should be able to get what I need out of just this one board, and I'll have the rest to frame with. It started to rain out here. It took me like 30 minutes to get one of the boards apart, so I'm about to tack those two boards that are gonna go along the top of this. So I'm gonna get those tacked in. All right, guys, so now that I've actually got an old hat over my phone, it started to pour rain. Don't know how long we'll be out here, but now I got to break apart these other boards so I can run them this way, and then I can start framing up. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half since I last picked you guys up. It was raining pretty good. It rained pretty good. So now I'm getting back out here, and the more and more that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I'm gonna have to separate these 2x4s. I think I can, because they're at a 90-degree angle already, I think I can come on top of here and just put them on the corners, just running up like that. I think it's gonna be the easiest thing for me to do. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. Now I got to figure out what height I want and where do I want my slope if I'm going to put a roof. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a roof. So I think if I want to shoot, I think I want to shoot out of this front right here. So I think I'm going to have it slope down off that way. I think it's going to be the best way for me to run the slope. I can either do it that way or I can run it off the side. But I think the best thing would be to run it off the back, so that way if I shot out off to the left or the right, the water wouldn't be running to that one side if a deer walked out that way. So I'm gonna run it from front to back. I'm gonna put a couple more screws, I think, in this base, and then I'm gonna get up there. I'm gonna figure out what height that I want. I think I want it high enough that I can use a 5-gallon bucket, because one of my biggest pet peeves is when you hunt in a deer stand or in a box blind, and you have to have a raised seat and the other person beside you can't see. So I think I'm gonna do it to the height of where I would be with a 5-gallon bucket. So if I sit down on a bucket, where it would be the most comfortable for the windows to be. So I'm actually about to put a 5-gallon bucket up here and measure this off. All right, guys, so I got the first 2 boards up for the framing, but now I gotta run back over here and grab some more wood. So I'm on the way over here. Right now I'm about to throw in a clip of, I think I'm gonna throw in a trout fishing clip that I have from last week. Me and my buddy Colt went out and he caught a decent sized black drum, and then right behind him I had like a 20-inch trout, not giant, but very big for us. And so I had him, I set the hook on this fish and I thought I had him, but he broke off about 15-20 feet away from the boat. I'm gonna roll that clip now. Got him. I think so. No, I think I'm on. Got him. That's a good fish. Look at that bend. Look at that bend. Whoo! Oh, this is a good trout. Colt, grab the net, grab the net. Oh my God, that was a good trout. Oh my God, that was a good trout. Oh my God, that was like a 19-inch trout. So y'all saw that clip. Heartbreak when that happens, but that's what happens. That day, me and Colt only caught that 1 keeper drum and a bunch of little trout. So there wasn't enough there to make a video, so I figured I'd throw in that clip. Part of this is going to be measuring for framing it up. So what I'm gonna do is measure it from the inside of that, the inside of that. It's gonna be 38. So I need to cut 2 38-inch boards, which I can use these scraps for. But I think I'm gonna do the bar, or the shooting rest right here at 34 inches, and then I'm gonna put another one up there. So I actually need 4 at 38 inches. First one, I'm gonna put it up at 34 inches. So you guys might be asking, why is it so tall? I mean, it's well over 6 foot. I want to be able to stand up in all directions and bow hunt if I get back into compound bow hunting. I had one, but I think the strings popped. So if I get it fixed, I'm gonna want to be able to compound bow hunt. All right, guys. So originally I wanted it this 80 inches tall so that I could bow hunt it, but I still think that if I leave it at 24, I was just thinking it's gonna be impossible for me to haul this anywhere with it being 80 inches plus whatever this is down here underneath us. So I'm thinking this is at 24 inches and I'm really liking where it's at. It gives me a 2-foot gap. I can still sit in the back of this thing and stand up a little bit if I want to shoot my compound bow anywhere out here. So I think I'm going to leave it at 24 inches. Now I've got this at this is 33 inches or 34 inches, so 34 plus what did I say this was? 24. That's how tall this is going to be. And then I'm going to drop the roof. I'm just going to cut these off right here, and I'm just going to drop the roof, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but I'm going to drop it by 2 inches. So I'm going to add up 36 plus 24, subtract 2, and then that's where I'm going to cut off and put the board on this side. It's been off and on raining. I don't have a ton of battery left on my camera, so I'm probably going to put these boards up and then switch over to my GoPro and then start working on these other walls. What I'm doing on every one of these boards is I'm going in from the bottom and the top, and I'm starting my screws. So that way when I get the boards up there, I'm not fighting to hold it and get the screw in there. I can go ahead and start them, get them almost, I want just the tip of the screw just sticking barely through the wood, and then I can put it up right here and then pull them both together. Got this one in, about to put the top one in. This is gonna be a 2-part video. All I'm gonna do in the rest of this video is I'm gonna put this board up, and then I don't know, I may tack some more to the sides, but that's all I'm gonna do in this video. All right, guys, so I just switched over to the GoPro. This is actually a different one, so I don't know what the quality difference will be, but I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna take the saw up here and saw off the tops of these things, these posts. Look at the dove. I don't know if y'all can see them. But saw off the tops of these posts, and then put these beams in, and then I'll get ready for plywood. Okay, so now I've got everything. I've got both of these sides framed up and ready for plywood. It's been very rough. So I'll just explain it to you guys. I went to put up these boards, and I figured out both sides of these boards are warped. See how that one's kind of at an angle. So I'm having to do a lot of like a little adjusting. I had to cut an inch off of this side. There's some gaps. It's definitely not perfect, but I've never met a deer that has cared about how pretty a deer blind is, which is the good thing. So now all I have left to do is I'm gonna put one shooting brace on this side, and then I've got to figure out a spot right here for my ladder where it goes up. So I'm gonna have to put a board right here, and then I'm gonna have to put another board right there so that I have off of this way too. But Nellie's being a good girl down there. She's just hanging out, not getting into any trouble. She was getting into a lot of trouble this morning. I think she found a dead rat and was chewing on it. Found a couple bones, a golf ball. So I'm gonna put up the rest of this framing, and that's probably gonna be it for this video. So I'm gonna put up these frames, and I'll catch you guys after I got them up. Now I've got both of these up. I've got a 2 or 3 inch slope. There's a bunch of like little stuff that's messed up, like that right there where I cut it, but it's still level. Like this right here, stuff that really doesn't matter, but as long as the whole thing is strong, and that's what I was trying to get. So everything's done with the framing, except for I've got to run a board from here across to here, and then do the same thing on the opposite side for 10. I think it's only going to take 2 sheets of 10, which is really nice. So that's all I'm going to be doing today. So now I'm going to clean stuff up and get to the house. So I worked on that blind for about 5 hours, and that's all I got done was the framing. So that's gonna be it for part 1 of this video. But before I end the video, I'm gonna throw you guys back to last week. My uncle went and caught some specks. I'm gonna throw those clips in now.
Oh, good gracious, Travis. That's a good one. Well, I got it. Let it go. Yeah. Warmouth. I'm driving like a drunk right now, dang. He's fat, I'm gonna eat him. Yeah, but not even stump knockers or warmouth to be biting regular. It's no. Yeah. Not the big daddy rabbits. They're eatable. That one's sitting right where you're at. Maybe I need to pull the boat on that side so it... Oh, crap, you moron! Just had a bite right there. Now, I don't know what... If I catch a fish the size you just caught, I don't know what we fixing to do right here. And I just did. Travis, I don't know what to freaking do. Where's he at?
Leave him out.
I'm trying to get him. That required some conflagrating. Here's where he's supposed to be too.
Thank you, Uncle Greg, for sending me those clips. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.